The quick turnaround catches AOE off by guard. That is 3 goals. Torsos looking commanding right now.
2 minutes to go, Yumi, and it's 3-0. AoE, I do believe he's got it in him, despite him not looking so well and healthy in this series right now. I do want him to come back, and I do believe. However, AoE just caught backwards, and he can't get back in time as Torsus works the ball around him. He's just too quick in this situation.
Yeah, this is the second time AOE has been baited out of his net and out of a defensive position in this match. Torsos just waits on the ball, lets him come in, and AOE has to go in. He's 3 goals behind. He needs to try and make a play, but in that case, got baited into the wrong move.
Indeed, and AoE elects to go for the challenge instead of the boost, so now he's going to be on the small pads, and Torsus is just trying to make something happen knowing this, but AoE, he gets control of the ball comfortably, and he just misses the boost. Torsus, what a great play. It may not seem much to the average eye, but being able just to bump AoE out of the way and not letting him get possession, as well as getting the boost, is a huge part of it, and it pays off.
Again, Torsos knows what to do when AOE Amp is shadowing. Amp was shadowing a little bit too close and for a little bit too long. Never in a position where he could really make a challenge or a save, and Torsos capitalizes on that well.
Torsus just looking very strong right now. Here we go, going to the kickoff, and his kickoffs are just out of this world. He's winning most of them, and AoE is back in his own defensive half because of winning the kickoff. And AoE going for the quick challenge now, and he overcommits. Torsus with a nice little fake, goes straight under AoE. AoE thought he was going to flick it or try hit it over him, but no. Torsus says, no, I'm going underneath you, mate.
You did say as well that another kickoff goal coming out from Torsos. Is there anything AOE needs to be doing right now to deal with these kickoff strategies coming out from Torsos?
He needs to learn my kickoff. I call it the pirouette. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but I do feel like for those who know me, they know exactly what the pirouette is. And maybe I have to give AoE a few lessons on that. Otherwise, he needs to learn something like the scrub killer kickoff. That's very basic but very effective. And I feel like Torsus already knows that, and he's doing the scrub killer kickoff pretty well.
Yeah, he has been getting in line with the ball and drilling it just straight through AoE Amp, and that's how it's going out to the side and behind. AoE giving him the advantage on these kickoffs. Torsos has this in the center field, but AoEM's giving him no room. Very close play by these two players. And this might be a fatal mistake. AoEM goes for the boost. Lets Torsos get a free shot on net.
Just a very bad decision from AoE, but I do say in his defense, he was already in a position where he was out of play, and Torsus, no matter what, was going to get that goal after that challenge had occurred.
Yeah, it did also look like Torsos was going for that boost, but as soon as Torsos saw Amp even, quiver or look towards it, he quickly turned around, made sure he went for the ball instead.
Yes, indeed, and AoE Amp hasn't managed to pick up a boost yet again off the kickoff, and Torsus is making the plays, and AoE just unfortunately getting caught halfway through the half flip, and Torsus, very good timing on this shot, knowing that AoE is backwards.
Perfect timing. As soon as anybody is flipping, they can't change the direction of their car for a good second, and 1 second is a long time in Rocket League. Torsos is reading it so well. He is 8 goals in the lead, and there's only 10 seconds left. Impossible for the comeback. Perhaps AOEM can get one consolation goal and give him some momentum going into the next one.
Yes, indeed, and I do hope for the series' sake that AoE can bring something back. Yumi, what do you think he does? He needs to change this time around for him to make a comeback.
I think he needs to start just going aggressive. He's been trying a lot to just stay back and shadow, but I think his shadowing skills, are not up to par. He's not used to that. Good games being called by these two players. We will need to probably follow up on that with them, thinking they think it's a best of 3. This is winners bracket final, and according to our illustrious organizer here, it is a best of 5. So we'll go and get those 2 players back. However, as I was saying, we will keep discussing while you do that. It doesn't seem that AOE truly shines in that shadowing situation. His spacing on that shadowing, his distance away from the ball, and his ability to either challenge or make a save is not at the level that Torsos is used to. And so Torsos is able to really find that weakness and take advantage of it. If he can just be more aggressive, make sure that Torsos has no opportunities, and just try and play as fast as possible. I think he'll be more playing to his strength and have the ability to try and get a win over Torsos.
So there was a little mistake on the bracket. It is meant to be a best of three. However, I'm pushing for a best of five because that's what I initially announced. It's just for some reason it didn't register on Chalong. So I'm trying to get these two players back now, and they are on their way back. So give us a minute, and they'll be back, and we'll get back to casting you.
Yeah, they're right back in the game already. AoE Amp has joined Team Noisy, and Torsos is sitting in the AoE Amp net. 5 minutes on the clock, and this is all down to AoE Amp. Torsos needs to make one game to go through. AoE Amp has 3 required to get into his belt.
And you just got to think of this from AoE's point of view. Mentally, he might be demoralized. I can see myself, if I was in his situation, I could see myself thinking to myself, oh man, I thought this was meant to be over. Let's just go get it over and done with. You know, I've already felt like I've lost. I've been 8-0'd. You know, it's if AoE brings it back, I want to give him so much credit for getting his mind back in the game and having the willingness to come back and say that he's going to win this.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. I think from AoE's perspective, he might also just be trying to find some weaknesses from Torsos. A very solid 50-50 right in front of Torsos's net here. And actually faked a flick high and ended up going low, allowing that 50-50 underneath Torsos.
Yeah, Torsus is just misreading that and over-calculating the flick that AoE was intending to do. And here we go with the kickoff again. And AoE has finally won a kickoff, so Torsus is now on his back foot off the kickoff, and AoE already attempting an aerial play, but unfortunately Torsus gets up so quickly, and this is going to be a goal for Torsus.
You did say AoE won the kickoff. Is it possible, do you think, that Torsos is trying, now that he's got 2 games in the bag, to keep some of his strategies under his belt and not give away anything to AoE, with the possibility that he might be coming back to verse him in the grand final?
Ooh, I like that idea actually, and I hope you're right, because Torsus is quite the intelligent player. I've played other games with him, and the guy, especially like Battle Right, for instance, when I first played with him, he was like saying things like, oh, what's the damage going to be for this and that, you know, maybe I can do some combos. So you could be right, as I can vouch for him. He is quite the intelligent kid, but AOEM just got a goal off the kickoff, and as we were talking about the kickoff goals, you know, it happens, but for the wrong guy.
Yeah, Torsos getting a solid connection on this kickoff. AoE backing off wisely. Seen a few people going for boost in that situation, but Torsos would be able to punish that well. Torsos with a 50-50, but AoE's not going to give him any space to breathe. A bit hesitant there, and that's not what we like to see from AoEM, but he is going to get away with it. Has the possession, a little bit of boost, and a shot on net. Torsos puts that to the side.
Yes, I can't say I like that from AoE. He had a lot of time to work with, yet he decides to take it out to the side and give Torsus the time to get back into goal and just comfortably set himself up for a good defensive position. And when AoE decides to make a play, never mind, Torsus with another breakaway goal. AoE just gets caught out in the open, and Torsus just comes swooping in and taking it off AoE's hands.
Once again, AoEM's dribbling has just failed him a little bit. He had the ball slow and in front of him, and it's hard to get that ball bouncing and on the roof, without Torsos coming from the challenge. And in the end, he opted to try and out-dribble him on the ground, and that's a very difficult play to make.
Yes, and did AoE get that boost? I think he did. So Torsus is now flipping about on the wall, but AoE, he gets down in time, and AoE just gets taken out by the unexpected wall drop from Torsus, and AoE electing to go for the boost now, and Torsus, I think he's just waiting for the boost in his own corner. Now, AoE going for the challenge. He wins that really well. Can he recover? No, he can't. Torsus gets there in time first.
Really clever play too by Torsos. As you mentioned, he was waiting for the boost, but he just sat there behind the ball. So even if AoEM came in with a whole bunch of boost, the best that Emp could get was a 50-50 and leave Torsos with plenty of time to wait for that. Torsos misses, and AoEM is going to take the lead in this third game.
Yes, can we potentially see a reverse sweep? Who knows, but as you were just saying a moment ago, you're right. Torsus with his very strategical positioning and waiting for the boost and all these other plays that he's making, it just shows that he's the more experienced ones player here. However, AoE, he's making the plays just from what he knows about Rocket League, not necessarily ones. So props to him from keeping in the game, and he tries to fake out Torsus here, but Torsus just gets a touch on the ball, and now AoE's on his back foot.
Would you call this game brawn versus brains, perhaps, as AOE leans on his mechanical skill to carry him through, while Torsos is using his experience and intelligence?
Yes, I think that's exactly what I was implying, and it would be quite the upset of AoE one because I'd have to say Torsus has always been in the top 3 in all these ones tourneys, and AoE with another breakaway goal, he puts it up the wall and just pops it over Torsus. Oh, sorry, I take that back. He ends up winning a challenge. Torsus just overcommitted, and AoE with a very nice shot off the wall.
Yeah, that's AOEM's specialty, and that's why he can get away with that. A lot of ones players wouldn't be comfortable with or confident being able to get that shot off the wall and direct it at net, but AOEM will get that almost every single time.
Torsus coming through now, but AoE with some really nice defense, winning that challenge. However, Torsus is already back on the attack. He is not letting up. He is relentless. Yuumi, what does AoE have to do here to get him out, get his ball out of his half?
I don't think he really needs to get the ball out of the half. He can just spend his time wasting Torsos's and not doing stuff like that. That was unfortunate. He only needed to get the solid 50-50 and take Torsos out of the play. Instead, he does, as you suggested, to try and get it past him. That is going to cost him a goal, and now he's only got a 1-goal buffer.
Yes, and credit where it's due. Torsus reading the ball very well. AoE's only real choice was to bring the ball up the wall, and Torsus was ready for that. He was already positioned himself on the wall. And again, Torsus winning the kickoff, getting the boost, and AoE is now struggling for boost, and Torsus has possession and just slots it into the bottom left-hand corner of the goal.
Yep, net has been opened up and tied game. Again, coming off the kickoff, Emp is being very aggressive, attempting to get a touch on that ball, but Torsos is a little bit too quick for him in this circumstance and become a very tight game.
Yes, and I do feel like AoE didn't have to challenge without boost then. He could have just taken it easy and gone for the boost, I feel like. But every man to themselves. Torsus decides to give the possession to AoE, but he turns around quickly to take the challenge, and AoE faking out the challenge and just sitting back, waiting for Torsus to hit the ball into him. But Torsus now recovering very well, and now he's on the attack, and AoE's rushing back to his goal. Torsus thinking he won't get back in time, just takes a shot anyway.
Yeah, Torsos showing the power of just a solid 50-50 in that defensive half. Because even though AoE Emp won the 50-50, it gave Torsos so much time to recover, get possession back of the ball. AoE Emp has this in his defensive half, looking to push this up. He's going to keep it on his hood. Rather than the bounce, he drops it down and gets the flick over the top of Torsos.
Yeah, it's very nice play from AoE indeed, but I do kind of question Torsus' choice to give AoE the time and go from the boost and challenge from the side instead.
Yeah, it's not the greatest play. It forced him to make a quick play and make that challenge all the more difficult, but it does look like he's going to get a counter-attack or a counter goal in the form of a kickoff goal. And AoE Emp at the moment is just bleeding shots into his net off the kickoff.
You just got to feel for AoE. If he had like a good kickoff and prevented these kickoff goals, these games would be a lot closer than what they have been. However, this game, I've noticed his kickoffs have been better, but Torsus so far has gotten 2 kickoff goals, and props to him for having such a solid kickoff, but you just have to feel for AoE not, realizing the importance of these kickoffs and not being able to practice it being a threes player, because normally in threes, losing a kickoff like that is normally a win for your team.
Yeah, and I definitely know how that feels. Myself, unless I practice my ones kickoff regularly, I tend to lose every single one. So I have lost some games to people who just have absolutely fantastic kickoffs in absolutely tremendous fashion. The game is tied 5 apiece. Torsos has a chance to carry it the entire length. He is going to do it. Torsos finishes it off in style.
And again, you got to feel bad for AoE, although I do question his decision yet again to keep the ball as high in the air as he did. He can't underestimate Torsus like this. A person at his caliber can carry the ball across the field without letting it touch the ground, and it's very clearly demonstrated right there by Torsus.
Yeah, Torsos has done a fantastic job. AoE trying to play to his strength of keeping it in the air. But Torsos is just very patient, waits for the ball to get close to the ground and follows up on it. So he's going to go through to the grand final. AoE Amp now needs to battle it out.